And we are recording. Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Samuelson. I am the Associate University Librarian for Public Services here at Moffett Library, which means that I am here to help you guys in your efforts to do research and to find various documentations and resources, mostly articles, for you to help out for your papers and your assignments. Um, to start off with, in D2L, there is a link that says Moffett Library. If you click on that link, it will take you to a page which will get you started on how to use our online resources. That's something new that's only been there for maybe a semester now, but just be aware of that fact in your on the actual D2L page. There is a link that says Moffett Library. If you click on that, it'll bring up a specific page which is specific to online resources, how to get into our databases, what databases are available, how to do
Ryan,
research.
would you share your screen and
I'm
show
about
them?
to, I'm about to, I'm
Because
about to show them. But I just wanted
so
to say
because
if
I myself cannot find Moffat Library. I only found library,
couldn't find Moffett Library,
not on the D2L page.
okay. Well, maybe it just says library. I don't know. I don't have access to D2L, unfortunately.
I can share it my screen. Do
Okay,
you
if you want
want
to
me
share
to
your
share my
screen,
screen?
yeah, go ahead.
It says share screening is not turned
Oh,
on.
hold on. Let me turn you on. Give me a sec. Should be able to now. Is it still not letting you?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So this is the D2L page. So when I go under more, I see a library, but that's
Yeah,
all I
that's it.
see.
That's it. That's it.
So this is what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the page I'm talking about. Thank
Okay.
you for doing that. Like I said, I don't have access to D2L because I'm not an instructor this semester. That's it. But again, just to let people know if they have any problems um, getting a hold of stuff or they forget something I say, they can always go back to that page. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Let me bring up. This is my homepage. I'm sorry, this is the Moffett Library homepage. You can get here by clicking on academics and then clicking where it says Moffett Library and then discover Moffett Library. It takes you to this page. The page that Dinika was just showing is this page right here, how to get started. So again, if you don't have contact with, if you're not in D2L, you can also reach that page by clicking on that little link right there where it says how to get started at Moffett Library. As an online class, you guys are going to want to use the online resources for the most part. If you are here on campus, if you're here in the dorms, if you're connected to the Wi-Fi here on campus, if you're using any of the labs or using any of the computer labs or here in the Moffett Library, you shouldn't have to log in to get access to everything. But since you guys are online, you're probably going to be off campus. You're going to want to log into the portal. You do that by clicking where it says My MSU Texas. Click where it says Portal Login and click on Sign In. And now you're in the portal page. Yours is going to look a little different than mine. Mine is an employee page, or it's going to be a student page, but you should have a number of MSU applications. One of those is going to say library account, and one's going to say library research databases. If you click on the library account, it's going to take you into your library account here on campus. That will just let you know what you have checked out, if you have any holds on you, if you have anything that would prevent you from normally checking things out or requesting things or borrowing things. It'll also let you know, we're going to talk about interlibrary loan in a second. It'll also let you know what you have checked out as far as interlibrary loan goes. But to get into that system, you need to go and check again, click where it said, where it says sorry, where it says library account. There's a second one here. This is library research databases. If you click on this button, this will basically log you into one of the servers here on campus, and this will allow you to access the databases. Sometimes people have problems using this particular system. Again, you have to log in through the portal. You have to come in here and you have to click where it says research databases to kind of log into the research databases. If you ever click on the database, it's asking you for a password within that database and something has gone wrong. There's a number of things you can try. One thing you can do is you can start just by using a different browser. Some browsers work better with some of the databases than other browsers do. So if you're using Firefox, try Chrome. If you're using Chrome, try Explorer. You might just try a few different databases and see if one of those works better. Again, we don't have control over that. It depends on the particular vendor that's providing that particular browser, but it is a way you can troubleshoot. Another problem sometimes people have is they're doing this from work. They're doing it perhaps at a school or at the Air Force Base, or perhaps for a lot of the health science students will do it from a hospital. A lot of the places, times when people do it from work, however, their work environment will have a firewall, and that firewall will prevent them from actually accessing any of the databases with behind that firewall. So if you are using a work computer, just be aware of the fact that your particular work environment may block you from actually using our databases for security reasons. So again, if you can, try to use this from home. Try to be aware of what resources or what firewalls you may have on your home computer. If you are having firewall problems, contact the IT people. They can probably walk you through how to disable certain firewalls and allow you access to some of the databases. But again, just be aware of the fact that that can happen from time to time. Also, sometimes databases can go down for whatever reasons. The servers for these databases are not here on our campus. Sometimes they're in different places. I remember a few years ago, one of the servers that actually ran one of the bigger databases we had was hit by a hurricane, and so they were down for a couple days. Just be aware of that fact. Sometimes these things are out of our control as far as when the databases go down and when they come back. If you do inform us, we'll usually have something up on the webpage. It'll say this particular database is down. We're working on it. Hopefully, when it comes back up, be aware of it. And again, you can always handle those type of problems by getting started early. A lot of times, those things will only affect people who are doing things at the last minute. If you get started early on your assignments, you usually won't have those problems. But just letting you know, those are things that can pop up sometimes. Okay. That being said, there are a number of databases that are available to you. One of the things I'm going to suggest to you, rather than just go through the complete list of things on here, I'm going to suggest for you to go back to the MSU homepage. And again, if you go
Ryan,
back,
can we focus on the Gale database?
we're going to, but I'm going to let them know what the best thing to look at as far as what databases are best for their discipline, basically, is what I'm going to focus on right now. So if you go to, again, if you go to academics and click on Moffett Library and discover Moffett Library, we do have a number of research guides based on subject. So for example, if you go in underneath education, you can pull up a resource which is going to let you know all of the particular journals specific towards education that'll help you out for your classes. So just be aware of that fact, that we do have this available for you as far as what all the various databases are and what each one does, because each one does something a little bit different. But the one that's mostly for you guys is probably either the Gale One File Educators Reference Complete, or just Gale Academic One File, are probably the best ones to start with for this class. If you click on this, this will take you into the Gale database. And again, you can also narrow it down once you get in this to other things as well. But yeah, this is the Gale database we're talking about. Is this what you wanted me to cover, basically, Denica?
Yes, I would like us to, for them, for their topics or for that assignment, they need to be knowing how to be able to search articles for their topics. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, what to put in the search button, and like if there is an article that's unavailable, how to request it as the service for interlibrary loan, and then APA citations. Like that is what they need because most of the students in this class are actually freshmen, sophomore, as I
Okay.
had emailed you about.
As I mentioned before, when you log into the, let me go back for a second. When you go into the Moffat Library homepage, you do again want to make sure you're in that library account. That is how you do interlibrary loan requests. That's why I was showing you both those links. What is interlibrary loan? Well, let me actually let me do the databases first, and then I'll go back to interlibrary loan for a second.
Yes, because isn't there a button that is there on the articles that you can just click and it automatically populates? I've
Only
been
if they've
using it.
logged into their library account. If they're doing this from home and they haven't logged into their library account, that button does not show up. Um, but again, if they're on campus, if they're logged into their account, that button will show up. If you're not logged into your account, that button will not show up. So again, I wanted to make sure they knew to again, when you do log into the portal, make sure you do click on the button that says library account so that you have your library account here. And again, you can see up here at the top, it's letting me know that I'm logged in by saying, "Hello, Ryan." It's basically my account. That's how you can check that. But again, just before you do anything in the databases, make sure you log into your library account. That way, if there is a particular article that is not full text available through the database, you can't, that button that will let you do interlibrary loan will pop up. I wanted to let them know that when I went through the whole thing about logging into the portal and clicking on the various the buttons they need to click on. Let's go back to the Gale database. Is there a particular search you want me to focus on, Titika?
Um, does anybody have a diversity topic that they want to talk about? Any of y'all? Is there a topic that you
Well, I
wanted
can
to
just type in
search?
diversity.
I'm personally researching about diversity in the medical field because
Okay.
I am a pre-med student.
I think that's excellent.
I've just typed in diversity medical just to see what comes up. From this, I see that over 2,000 articles have popped up. That's probably a little bit more larger than a search than I probably want. So one of the things I can do here is I can start to say, all right, I can click over here. It says revise my search, and this lets me come in and type in another term. Let's go with diversity medical. Let's maybe career. And we now see it's only pulled up 11 academic journals. That's a very small amount, but it gives you a better idea of how you can start limiting things down if you pull up more than 2,000 or 1,000 articles and stuff like that. One of the things you can also do is you can come in and you can actually click on one of these that you kind of like. And a lot of times these particular articles will give you certain keywords that you might want to start using. Academic careers, career choice, diversity, minority, mentorship, medical education. These are all terms then that you can put into your own searches to find more articles which are very similar to this particular article. Now, in this case, I believe the entire article is here.
I think the button that it says peer reviewed has to be clicked because only the full text one is clicked. If you
Okay.
go back to the search.
Let me go back. Okay, this is not full text, but again, I can click on full text and bring up all the full text articles. Oops.
And then you would definitely want to click the button that says peer reviewed journals because that is one of the main things. You cannot use
Yeah.
something from a book. You cannot use something from a news report or a blog or any of those. It has to be from a journal that is peer reviewed. And peer reviewed basically means that these articles are first vetted through experts in their field to see whether they have sound methodology and sound findings and all of those things before they are published. So that's why they are
I
called
will
peer
say a few
reviewed.
things about the peer review journal button sometimes. This only says it's from a peer reviewed journal. It doesn't necessarily say it's a peer reviewed article. Gale is usually pretty good about it, but sometimes they'll have news items from a peer reviewed journal, which will pop up in these. So just be aware of that fact. Also be aware of the fact that once in a while, you're going to want to check to see how old the journal is. One of the things that's happened in the last, I want to say 15 years, is there have been a lot of fly-by-night companies that have popped up throughout the world that say they're peer reviewed, but they're really not. So just be aware of the fact that if you pull something up, you might, just to be absolutely sure, you might check to see what organization and how long that particular journal has been around. Because I said there have been some fly-by-night operations that are basically have said they're peer reviewed, but what they're really doing is they're going to academics and saying, hey, if you pay us $500, we'll publish whatever you want us to publish, basically. So just be aware of that fact as well. That's a little bit more detailed than you guys probably have to deal with, but just be aware that is a problem nowadays with some of the databases is sometimes they will pull up articles which say they're peer reviewed, but actually aren't. Gale is better than another database we used to have called EBSCO, but just be aware of the fact that those problems do pop up from time to time. And again, you can just look at it. One of the things you can always do is just see what type of article it is, see if there's a large bibliography to it. Again, see how long that particular journal has been around. Also see, for example, maybe if that article is tied to a specific organization or a specific university. Those are also good ways of checking to make sure it comes from a valid source. But I see a lot of times professors say, oh, all I have to do is click on peer reviewed. Sometimes it doesn't really turn up peer-reviewed articles, unfortunately, just to let people know. Again, that's just a, but again, it's usually a safe thing to do is click where it says peer-reviewed journals. And we can see one of the first things that popped up now, it says abstract only. If I click on that, we've been talking about something called the interlibrary loan request. And this is it right here, request through interlibrary loan. Say this particular article is an article I want. Well, the full text of this article isn't actually here for someone to use. But you can come in and click where it says request through interlibrary loan at Moffitt Library. And again, if you've signed into your account, it will have all the information about who you are. It'll fill out all the information you need about that particular article. And you can hit submit request. People ask us how long it will take to get an interlibrary loan article. It depends on how rare the article is, how rare the journal it comes from is. Some articles are very easy for us to get a hold of. Some are a little bit more difficult. Especially in this case, this is a medical one. You can see that there is a form here that says amount willing to pay. For the most part, interlibrary loan is going to be free for you. But be aware if you're doing something like a medical article or a legal article, sometimes it'll come from a private hospital or a private legal firm, and they may charge you to have that article. A lot of times they'll just charge you to basically just a small processing fee for them to do it. But just be aware of the fact that it may pop up at sometimes. You're more than willing to
Just
just leave
put
that
zero
blank.
there. You do not need to spend for any
No, you
article
do not need
for
to
this
spend.
class. Just
Most of
put
the
a
time you can
zero.
leave
Just
that
say
blank.
you are not ready to spend any money.
But just be
Okay,
aware of the
and
fact
then
the interlibrary loan librarian may contact you and say, hey, this particular person is requiring a small fee. Again, you're not required to spend any money whatsoever, but just letting you know that's something that may pop up so you're aware of the fact. But all I'd have to do now is hit submit request, and it would request this for an interlibrary loan. This would then be sent off to the interlibrary loan librarian, who would then send it off to various institutions who may be able to lend this material to us. It depends on a lot of different factors how long this will take. Again, it depends on how rare the item is. It also depends if you do it on a Friday at the end of the day. Keep in mind, interlibrary loan departments are not open on weekends for the most part, so it's going to take a little bit longer before they get back to you. But generally, you'll get it within a week. Usually, is usually what we tell people. Sometimes it can be as quick as the next day. Sometimes it may be as long as 2 weeks. Again, it depends on a lot of different things going on. But just be aware of that fact. If the particular article is not full text, or if it is full text, one of the things you can also, another thing, if there is a full text article in here, let's see if I can find one that is full text. Here we go. One of the things you can do, and I suggest doing this, is you can send it to yourself in an email. The reason I say that is because these databases are constantly adding and subtracting documents. It's not unusual for someone to find an article at the beginning of the semester, and then by the end of the semester, we may no longer have access to that particular article anymore, just because that particular publisher has dropped us from that particular database. Again, it's something that's rare, but it does happen. Just to let you know that does happen. If you find an article you like, go ahead and email it to yourself. You can do that by clicking on send, putting in your email address, and putting in basically whatever subject line you want to put into it. And it will send it to you as a PDF. Also, you can go here and you can click where you can also tell it to send it a citation to you as well, and it'll send you the citation format for it as well. The citation format also is available up here where it says cite. And again, what you guys want to look at is 7th edition of APA is what you guys will be using. So again, this one comes in MLA, APA, Chicago, and Harvard. Again, what you want for this class is the APA style manual to use for your bibliography. Again, if it's not full text, the best thing to do is again do that interlibrary loan request. You will get an email, and that email will be sent to whatever email it was sent to your campus email, and it'll basically tell you that the particular item has come in. Once that happens, again, if you click on library account, it'll bring up your library account, and you'll see that you will actually have that particular item in your library in your requests. You can click on it and bring up the PDF for it, basically. So just be aware of that fact if you do an interlibrary loan request for it. If you do do an interlibrary loan request for the article, make sure you do have plenty of time to allow the interlibrary loan office to try to get that material for you. The sooner you guys get started on doing requests and doing searches, the better off you're going to be. Don't say this for the last moment. Things can go wrong. So just again, the sooner you get started, probably the better off you will be getting all your articles on time and to what you want to do. Again, a lot of this is going to be finding particular articles that work for you. Again, what I suggest doing is once you find an article you like, again, look at those keywords, see what this particular database is using for keywords to describe that type of article, and reapply those keywords into the search box to help you find those particular articles. Anything else you want me to cover at this point, Ditika?
Yes. How do they pull the APA citations? That's very important.
All right, right
because
here
they
where it
have to
says
make
cite.
APA citations because it would automatically have you, the database will automatically have that, and you just have to copy paste it.
Yeah, right here. That's what I just covered. Right here where you click, we're on citations up here at the top. It'll bring up, again, all the different citations. You guys will be using APA. Yeah, I just covered that.
Yes, and it is APA 7th edition.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the student just to know.
Yeah,
Does
it
anybody
says
have any
APA 7.
questions?
Keep that in mind as well. Sometimes these databases will be a little bit behind as far as this goes. Also, make sure to double check. Another problem a lot of these databases have is there's a computer that's putting the citations together. It's not being done by a human being. And sometimes they make mistakes. So sometimes just double check to make sure that they're using the correct citation format. Again, also, if you need help using citations, for the APA, my suggestion is to use something called the Purdue OWL. This is the Purdue Online Writing Lab. It is a free service put out by Purdue that lets you know how to use the APA style guide. And it's a good way of just having an access to that particular style guide for free online. But again, it's called Purdue OWL. And again, you guys will be using the APA formatting for the 7th edition is what you'll be using. But it's an online resource that's available to you for free out of Purdue. And it's what most academics are aware of, and they usually suggest the students use if you need more help using the APA format or understanding the APA format. Again, the database will give you the APA format, but sometimes there will be mistakes just because, again, no human being may put this together. This was done by computer, and computers make mistakes. So just be aware of that fact. Well, that's my 30 minutes. Is there anything else you want me to focus on real quick again with them before I let you guys
Okay,
go?
so there's a question in the chat that talks about what does full text mean? Full text
Full
basically
text means
that the article is available to you right then. It could be either in just a format that you can read or you can download a PDF. So it doesn't mean that the whole journal is available to you. Think about journal being like a book that has chapters within. So what's opening up is actually those chapters, those articles within that journal that is opening up. So when a full text is available from this journal, maybe one article is available or two is available. All may not be available, right? So that is what it is. You also want to keep your topic narrow. So like we were talking about the medical career or anything else. So think about what would you like to research in the pre-med field on a diversity topic. Maybe you like to research about healthcare, right? Access to healthcare. That could be something. Maybe you want to research about gender with nursing. Maybe you want to research about opportunities or something else. So you want to keep the wordings narrow, just as Ryan was talking about, so that you don't have too many articles come up which will overwhelm you. Okay, sometimes reading just the abstract will tell you this is not something I want. I have to go on to another one, right? So you don't even have to. And in my experience, whenever I have requested articles from Interlibrary Loan, they are amazing and fantastic. Like this service that our library is fantastic at MSU. So whenever it's there within 2 or 3 days, sometimes even in a day, but like let's keep time for you to request articles so that you have it when you are doing your assignment. So, but this is the assignment that builds the basis for the next 3 assignments. So you want to do a good job on this because you're going to get, you want good articles that really lend itself to your diversity topic.
And I'll add to that. Originally, these databases were just indexes. Back when I was in college, before things were online, really, the indexes were basically just a list of things that existed. If you wanted the article, you'd have to actually go to the university that had that particular article and get a copy of it. Things are much easier nowadays. But one of the things that started doing is when these things started going online, this particular company, Gale, reached out to publishers and said, how much do we have to pay you to republish your article for free in our database? And basically the various publishers would give them various amounts of money. They'd say, okay, if you pay us this amount, you can reproduce everything from these various journals. This is still left over from that type of earlier way of doing things. So again, when it says full text, that's basically a journal that this database has paid for to provide you with the full text of things. It's not necessarily the normal way of doing things. Now, again, you guys are used to like the internet, and if you click on something, it takes you directly there. That's not really what's going on here. And you can see it's going to say, if you click off this little thing that says full text documents, you're going to see some things say abstract only, which means only the abstract's available. Some may only say citation only. Some will actually won't say either one of those, and those will be the ones that actually have the full text of the particular article here in this particular link. But these other links will only have a citation, or they may only have the abstract. Some don't even have the abstract, they just have the citation. So that's what that means as well. And again, so just again, beware of that fact. If you come to something that says citation only or abstract only, you will have to do an interlibrary request. So make sure that you're logged into your library account, and it should do that for you automatically. You're more than welcome to reach out to our interlibrary loan coordinator. Her name is Amanda. She'd be glad to help you guys out or respond to any questions you may have or any help that you need in getting things through interlibrary loan. Interlibrary loan is becoming easier and easier to use over time. Again, nowadays, all you have to do is make sure you're logged into your account, and it will finish all the information for you. And again, you should get it fairly quickly, and it should be free. But again, sometimes there are problems. If there are problems, Amanda should reach out to you and let you know that she's having problems finding this particular item from you. And again, don't do it at the last moment. Again, it does take us several days to actually do these things for you. Okay. Again, one more thing. The more terms you put in, the fewer results you're going to have. So if you're only turning up 1 or 2 results, remove some of your terms. Again, the fewer terms you have, the more results you have. The more terms you have, the fewer results you have. It's inverse. It's an inverse relationship. So if you need to limit something or if you need to broaden something up, think about using fewer terms or using more terms. Those will affect the number of terms, the number of results you get back in your results.
And since in your assignment you have to find 2 different perspectives or 2 opposing views, it would be great if you put an article, let's say I'm talking about I had a student who was a computer science student and he wanted to talk about coding. So he put in coding computer science females, coding computer science males. And so he got two articles and he started looking at coding in computer science through the perspective of gender. What does they really say? So that is also another way for you guys to really look at different perspectives of the situation of your diversity topic.
Another
I'm
thing that
sorry,
might
guys.
happen
I
as
am
well,
sick,
if
and
you
so
need,
I am.
sorry. Another thing that might happen if you're doing if you weren't looking for stuff for opposing viewpoints, really good articles will talk about the opposing viewpoints usually at the beginning, where they start talking about the research that's been done so far. They usually say something, somebody has said this, but I disagree. Those are, if you can, go through the bibliography, find that earlier research that this person is disagreeing with, and that you can use that then as your opposing viewpoint. So just be aware of that fact as well. Again, a lot of really good articles will talk about people that have opposing viewpoints within the article itself.
All right. Any other questions? Anybody?
I do have a question.
Sure.
When I'm doing research papers, I use like Google Scholar. I just want to know if that's available because I know on Google Scholar, there's also like icons that you can click that give you.
Absolutely. You can definitely use Google Scholar. Okay.
One thing I'll
Google
mention
Scholar
as
is
well
completely.
is we actually subscribe to Google Scholar. If you log in through the databases and then use Google Scholar, I believe Google Scholar is developed so it will actually pull up some of the resources we have available here in the building as well, or here through our databases. So be aware of that as fact. Just don't go to Google Scholar off the internet. I believe Google Scholar is listed as one of the research databases we have, and if you click through it that way, it'll actually go back and double check some of our resources yeah, right there. So just be aware that there is an enable Find It in MSU Texas, which will allow you to actually pull up resources from Google Scholar that you would not normally have off of the open internet that we actually have available through our online resources. Just be aware of that fact.
That was a great question. Thank you for asking that, Lauren. And sometimes that icon that you're talking about, Lauren, when you click on that PDF or the full text, it will directly take you to MSU page that has the article if you're logged on, basically. So that also really helps.
And again, the instructions are right here if you need the instructions, but yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Best of luck for your assignment. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. But this actually concludes the Zoom form for finding the research articles. I will have Ryan send me a recording, which I will post so that you guys can more than go back. It's a fast and furious one so that you get all the information and you can always go back and hear it again for
Yeah.
any things that you missed. But thank
Again,
you all for being here. I will add your extra credit, bonus credit very soon on D2N.
thank you, Danica, and I'll go ahead and stop the recording.